Hey guys, so the weirdest thing happened again last night. At this point, I'm kind of like sad about it because it's like already happened one time. So I'm like, the first time I was like, okay, I was like, I don't understand what's going on or whatever. When I got stopped the first time in the Tokyo station. But then last night, I was just walking around after visiting Charlotte. But just walking around, I'm at the park playing Pokemon Go. I'm like, I have to wait for my train anyway, so let's just do something fun while I wait. And then I just got dropped off, and then I had like a few minutes before, so the park is near the station, so I'm like, oh, I'll just go to the station. I'll just play for a bit. I'll just collect some Pokemon stops, maybe take down a few gyms, and then I'll just get on the train. I had like 30 minutes or less before the train was coming anyway. Um, so I was like, yeah, I'll just do that. And then as I'm walking, see a cop car, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Collected Pokestops, and then they passed me up. I'm like, okay, we're good. And then like 2 seconds later, it's just like again like, oh, Chotei, like, do you have time? I'm like, oh my god, seriously. I was like, it hasn't even been a month yet. Like, kind of like recovering from the last time, trying to like push that aside and just like move on with like doing what I need to do in Japan and having fun, doing adventures and all that, and it's just like it's happening again. At this point in time, like I'm thinking to myself like, what is the need for the stop? Like, why are you stopping me? Like, no one's asking me like, what are you doing or whatever. It's just kind of like just stopping randomly. If anybody knows me, or I mean, from the people that are viewing me now or have been viewing a lot of my stuff, or stuff that I've done with Charlotte, like I'm always smiling, I'm always like having a good time. If I'm walking, majority of the time I'm singing and dancing. I try to keep the dancing to a minimum, but I do tend to sing. Try to keep my voice from actually projecting, but yeah, like I'm for me, I don't feel like I come off as a scary person. I don't think I even look scary. But I'm gonna actually talk about that later too. But they basically just asked me like, oh, like, oh, how old are you? Basically like, well, first it's like, oh, do you know Japanese? I usually just say a little bit. I say, yeah, I know a little bit. I do I do understand a lot more than I let on. I can talk a little bit more than I let on. The only reason why I usually tend to say like a little bit is because I feel like if I say a lot, then they may say some words that I don't know. I mean, majority of the time when foreigners don't know certain stuff, it's just like what you think it is, and based off of that, you can just roll with the conversation. And then maybe you look that word up later, or maybe based off of the conversation, you get what that word is. I won't lie, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so like, um, I'll sit there and think about that word a lot during the conversation, and sometimes I'll get lost. I was just like, wait, what? I'm like, we're talking about something else. Um, but anyway, that's pretty much why I usually just say like, oh, I know a little bit. But then he asked, and I was like, yeah, I know a little bit. So then he tried to go on, obviously in what I guess he assumes is not so hard Japanese, but at the same time, he did a little bit of English, like, oh, what's your, what did he say? Like, what's your date birth? Or what's your something? It was kind of weird. It was something weirder than that. And I was just like, oh. So then I go on, I was just like, Juichigatsu, oh. And then I just said just like the month and the day, and then he was like, oh no, your Japanese is good. And I'm just like, oh my god. I was like, I only said like 2 words. But yeah, so then basically after that, there was no more English because I said like 2 things in Japanese. So I was just like, okay, whatever. But um at this time, there was so much I wanted to say, but since I was kind of sad at it happening so close to the previous time, I actually couldn't say much, like, because I was thinking hard. Um, if you're very close to me, um, I'm very much what they call a thinker. I think about things a lot, so sometimes during a conversation, like if it's just like all fun and games, I'm like having fun. But then if something like catches me kind of off guard, I'll start thinking about it, and I'll think about it a lot. And even like during the day, it just might randomly pop into my head, just like, oh wow, like why did they say that, or why did they do that, or did I handle that correctly? And I try to assess if I'm doing something good or bad, because I like being a good person. I like treating people with respect. I like being nice to people, and in turn, I like people to do the same thing for me. So pretty much, if you can't do that for me, I don't too much want to be your friend, because I feel like if I'm nice to you, you should be nice to me, kind of thing. So that's pretty much just how I live my life. Um, but they again, they were probably nicer than the first group of police officers I met, but then at the same time, since there was just so many emotions of like what was going on, I was still just not too happy about it. I was just sad that I'm like, wow, again. And then they just asked me like, oh, like, have you ever been stopped before? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's just funny because you're saying and all, like acting like you're surprised, but at the same time you're doing it too. So it's like, how are you surprised if you're doing it too? Like, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no need for the like you're surprised if you're stopping me too, because they obviously, if you're stopping me, then you know other people stop me too, or stop other foreigners, or I don't know really how it works. Um, but then based off of that, then he was like, "Oh, do you think American cops are scary, or do you think Japanese?" Like, どの感じ多分 like 日本人の警官は you know, American 人の警官はどっちが怖いです and I'm just like, well, I've never actually been like in trouble in America. I've never had it. I've never been stopped, honestly. I know some people might find that kind of shocking because of what you see on TV. So a lot of I guess black people, they usually get stopped. Um, but I guess up until this point, I've just been lucky, and it just hasn't happened to me. So I've never really experienced that. I know it happens. I just never like really experienced that. And then like, I don't know, twice in Japan in less than a month, just like really, just like, I don't know. It's sad. Just a lot of emotions. But it was basically a good day. Like, visited Charlotte, we had fun, we went shopping and so forth. We played Pokemon, obviously. We always play Pokemon, and then it's just like, okay, I'm gonna catch my train, but I gotta wait some time. So I was like, okay, whatever, let's just play some games. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm stopped. Besides that, it's basically like, hey, you think like, that Japanese are worse than American? The only reason why I said that pretty much is because I was like, I've never actually been stopped. I see the stuff that happens in America. I see how bad it is in America. And I don't think that it's that much better in all other countries, especially if you're a black person, I guess, compared to like other races. But it's just like, the only reason why I said that pretty much at the time is because I've never been stopped in America. Like, honestly, like I said, I've probably been lucky up until this point. But like here, it's less than a month, like 2-3 weeks. Obviously, by the time you see this video, because I have a lot of videos coming out, it might be some time. Maybe I'll just post this one a little earlier, just so people can see it. But yeah, I'm like, in 3 weeks time, like, that's like crazy. I'm like, this time it's not even at like a train station. I don't look lost. I'm just playing Pokemon. But they asked me, like, as they were talking and talking, one guy was talking, another guy was talking. It was 3 cops. One guy's talking here, one guy's talking here, and then one's like patting me down. First, they asked me about, obviously, my bag again, which I had nothing in. I don't even know why I brought the bag at this point. Or actually, Charlotte even mentioned that, like, why did you bring it if you have nothing in it? I was like, I don't even know. It's just in case I need it, I guess. But they wanted to check the bag, so I was just like, okay, why not? Let's. I mean, like, if I don't let you check it, then I feel like you'll think that I'm carrying something, and I don't want anybody to feel like I'm doing something bad. So I feel like if I just show you what's inside, then it'd be a lot better than me not showing you, and then you're judging me even that much more and thinking like, okay, then he must be doing something. Even if somebody says like, well, you have the right to not do it, I just feel like maybe if I do it, then maybe I don't. Maybe it'll stop. Maybe they'll just hurry up and just leave. Maybe that's not true. Maybe it would have been the same. Maybe if I just said no, it would have just ended right there, and we would have been good. But it was just like I was thinking about so many things. I'm like, maybe just do it, whatever. So they check, and then he's like, okay, you have a notebook. I'm like, they're like, that's it, just a notebook, notebook again. And I'm just like, yeah. And then they check the other parts, and they're just like, okay, nani mo hatenai. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing in there. And then they just look at like the last part, and it has a pencil. Impitsu dake. I'm like, yeah, just a pencil. And then the other guy at the same time, they start talking to me. They're asking me about just random stuff like, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I'm just visiting friends, and then I was gonna go home. But as I'm saying this, one of the other guys is like patting me down, like he's patting like what's in my pocket, if there anything's in my jacket, my butt, basically my back pockets and stuff, and then the other pockets on the other side, and then like my legs or whatever. And then another one's just asking questions. I don't know if this is supposed to make it seem friendlier or something, but yeah, it wasn't. Like, the feeling was still, like, they were nice. Like, it, the conversation was nice. They were nice. They seemed nice. But just the whole stopping and what's going on is just what was sad about the whole thing. Like, if they just stopped me and just asked like random questions, like, oh, like, why are you here, like, where do you come from, and all that stuff. I don't know. I know it's that, but if you're not patting me down and trying to check stuff, then I don't feel like you think like I'm doing something wrong. We're just talking. We're just, just chit-chatting about everything. Maybe you're just interested in where certain people come from. And I could, I don't feel like if a cop asked me that, just random stuff about me, then I'd be like, okay, whatever. Just a random person just wants to know more because there's not too many foreigners in Japan, or for that matter, maybe not too many black people from like America. So, I wouldn't mind just like saying, random stuff. But like it was that, and then at one, like, while one's patting me down, the other one's like, oh, do you have any dangerous weapons, abenabuki motemasu, and I'm just like, at first, since he was saying something else and the guy's patting me down, I'm just like, why is he patting me down? And then I was already saying hi to something else. I was like, hi, and he's like, eh? He's like, no, you don't. And I was just like, wait, what? And he said, abenabuki, and I was like, oh, no, I don't have any. He's like, yeah, you don't have any. And then again, then I'm just like, so if you know that I don't have any dangerous weapons, then why are you patting me down? Why are you checking my bag? Like, why is this even happening? Like, if you're gonna tell me to kind of say no, you're telling me like, no, you don't. Like, say no, you don't. Then in the end, there's like no need for all of it. Like, I don't know. It honestly, it ruined my day. I was having a good day, and then just after that, I was just sad and kind of frustrated because I'm like, wow, like, it hasn't even been a month yet, and this has already happened like twice. I was like, this is totally different from the first time I came, which that was like 3 years ago. I was here for like 2 years, 3 years ago. or two years ago, something like that. I don't know if anything has changed since I've been here because nobody ever stopped me before when I was here. Um, so I don't know if there's a difference. I don't know if there's foreigners bringing in weapons or something, or I guess well, I have heard about, I guess, supposedly Japanese people or whatever hiring foreigners to bring in maybe drugs and stuff like that or whatever is something that they told us during interview or during our not interview, our training. So I guess maybe, but like if they just asked me like what are you doing, they would have saw in my hand that I was only playing Pokemon, and then I don't think the conversation would have went further than like, oh, you're just playing a game. But it was already just like, oh, can I see your backpack? Already patting me down. Do you have weapons? No, you don't. No, no, you don't. And I'm just like, well, what is going on? And then like, there's so much I wanted to say in Japanese, but since I was so frustrated, I kind of like was zoning out because I was like, oh my god, I should have just stayed next to the train station and just got on the train. But no, I had to play Pokemon. Like the one time Pokemon failed me. So yeah, that was pretty much a good to bad day. They said thank you like 10 billion times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry. All this stuff. The one thing I did ask is kind of like, um, I don't understand like why I'm getting stopped. I was like, do you guys only stop foreigners? Because I don't see you stopping Japanese people. And they're like, no, 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 kanke nai, kanke nai. Like, there's no relationship between stopping foreigners and Japanese people. Like, we stop everybody kind of thing. And I was like, I didn't see you stop anybody else. Like, I'm not the only one in this park. There was like some Japanese people that came over later. There was a guy that had some writing on a paper, so maybe I just don't know. Maybe they did stop other people, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't see them stop anybody else. And then I just that ended, and I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, let me just walk around. Let me kind of clear my head. So till the train came, I just like walked around. Um, they maybe were following me for a little bit, or maybe they were just driving slowly because there was only like one way you could go anyway from where we were. I don't know. And then some guy passed, and he was playing his music like loud. And in Japanese, they told him to turn it down, but obviously he didn't turn it down. He just like was pumping his fists and stuff. And then obviously they didn't do anything. So I'm like, okay, like, but you don't really do anything about that. And then I turned left, they turned right, or whatever. And then the guy passed again with it, and he just said, turn it down. And he just didn't care. He just pumped his fist and kept going. And I'm just like, oh my god, like, if you're stopping everybody and this guy's not even turning down his volume for you, like, why are you not getting at your car and stopping him? Why aren't you doing basically the same thing that you're doing to me, to him? Frustrated. I was just like, whatever, just let's go. So I just walked down the street, and then obviously called Charla, and then I told her, and she's like, oh my god, again? I'm like, yeah, again. I was like, she was like, yeah, it hasn't even been like a month yet. I was like, I know. I was like, this is twice in like less than a month. So it the good thing about it is I felt like at least I had somebody I could talk to about it like right away, because I was really sad and frustrated about what happened. The first time I kind of got over it a little bit faster because I was like, whatever, I'm here to have fun. Here to hopefully make friends if I can. I don't know. I'm actually going to talk about that probably next. Just like certain tips that maybe Japanese people could use to make friends, because this is basically just going off my experience so far. Besides that, yeah, so I finally came home. I was gonna come straight home because I was really hungry, but I thought it would be best for me to just walk around, clear my head more. So I walked around my town for probably another hour and a half listening to music. At one point I just sat down on a bench because we have very nice walkways where I live, and then I just sat there. I just thought about different things, and then from there I just went on. I just went home, and then I ate, and then I just called it a day. I just watched some movies to try to just take my mind away from what was going on. But majority of the time I was just thinking about a lot of things, about what I was going to say today and about what I wanted to say. I don't know. I just want people to know that maybe there's fear towards black people in Japan, but like I said, I'll probably talk about that soon. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that I guess it's common. I guess it's like anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're like in a station, if you look lost or whatever. I guess you get stopped just frequently. If cops see you, maybe if you're alone, I don't know. I was with like a group of people earlier, but then now I'm alone. It is like later at night, but like I said, I'm playing Pokemon. If you saw what was on my phone when you stopped me, you would see that I was just playing Pokemon. But yeah, that was just pretty much what happened. Good day to bad day kind of thing, but yeah, hopefully it gets better, hopefully, than this. I don't know how I feel about being stopped like every like few days. I'd probably be really frustrated at that point. But yeah, just want to let you guys know what happened to me last night. I put on Twitter that I was gonna do a video about it today anyway. So yeah, that was pretty much my story of getting stopped 2 times in less than a month. If you guys ever been stopped, or if you know like why, pretty much, or if you just have a clue of like why foreigners get stopped. I guess supposedly Japanese cop says everybody, but I don't see it, so I don't know. Maybe you are Japanese and you know that they do stop Japanese people. I would actually like to know. So just leave your comments down below. You can find me on Twitter too, like I said, Instagram. So if you want to leave anything, then just leave it down below, or on Twitter or on Instagram. Thanks for listening to my story. Talk to you guys later. Bye.